Jonathan Lee Riches Investigates. I am covering the Moscow, Idaho Bryan Kohberger case. Let's talk about Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funke, the two surviving roommates who were in that Moscow, Idaho home during the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022, when 4 college students got brutally stabbed. Authorities arrested Bryan Kohberger on 4 counts of first-degree murder and burglary. Now, I want to share some information with what is publicly known and information what is not publicly known. What is publicly known in reference to Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funke? Well, according to the affidavit of probable cause, Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funke, their phones were seized by authorities, and the authorities analyzed their phones. Check it out. The combination of Dylan Mortensen's statements to law enforcement, review of forensic downloads of records from Bethany Funke and Dylan Mortensen's phone, and video of a suspect video, as described below, leads the investigators to believe the homicides occurred between 4 a.m. and 4:25 a.m. So now let me tell you what is not publicly known. I'm going to share a tweet first with y'all, and then we will further discuss. Check it out. I tweeted this out on my Twitter account at JLR Investigates. It's going to be real damaging for Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funke when it gets publicly revealed that they were texting one another during the murders. Bryan Kohberger case. During the murders, Bethany and Dylan were texting one another. That was told to me by a very, very credible source close to this case. And the grand jury heard that information. The grand jury that indicted Bryan Kohberger. That Dylan and Bethany were both texting one another during the murders. During the murders. And when they were texting one another, I'm told they were texting about what was going on in the house at that time. Bethany is a mystery because Bethany, I believe in those texts, said stuff different than what Dylan was saying in those texts. And that's possibly why the defense of Bryan Kohberger thinks Bethany has exculpatory evidence and they wanted to speak to her. But they were texting with one another, and authorities have that text. Those texts, a series of texts, can be very damaging for Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funke when it all comes out. Because then people are going to wonder, why did you call police? Didn't call police. No one called authorities. To 8 hours later, those two didn't even make the 911 call. There's going to be a lot of backlash on Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funke. And I feel that if this does go to trial, this case, all that is going to come to light on the stand, and everyone's going to be like, and the defense is going to hone in on that big time when it comes to this case. To me, I feel like the prosecution at the end of the day might try to work a deal out with Kohberger to avoid these two potential witnesses from getting on the stand for one of the reasons, that information, them texting one another during the murders. It's wild stuff, people. It's wild stuff. I've been covering this case extensively. I got sources all around the case that are talking. I appreciate that. Want to get out kind of an understanding of what's going on. Still not clarity on a lot of things. But they were in fact texting one another, I was told, and I believe that source. Let me know what you think. If they were texting one another during those murders and each one was saying something, do you think that's bad? Do you think that's bad? That, the murders were reported hours later and they were texting? Or what's your thoughts on that? Obviously, apparently they knew what was going on in that moment. Or maybe one knew and one didn't, or one was saying something different than the other. It's going to be interesting when those texts come out, and I think they will come out at trial. I think they will get revealed. Subscribe. We'll talk soon. Justice for the victims and their families. Everyone be safe. God bless.